Happy Friday, everybody. Hope you are having a great start to the day. Boy, it is 4th of July weekend. I hope everybody has some great plans and they're going to be safe out there. But we are here for TRS Live, so let's just catch you on up, right? You're new to TRS Live because your friend shared it. I'm here to save you a bunch of money. We talk about all kinds of cool things that The Real Shot sells. And the idea behind it is to save you a bunch of money, give you a bunch of information about the products that were here. And then the other thing too is to let you know that you can always rely on the TRS staff. So that's The Real Shot. You can rely on the staff for some of the questions. You can reach out on our social media pages if you have questions about the products that we're talking about on the show. But the other thing is here is, you know, we're trying to move some of the products that we have a good inventory of. Some of them we don't have a great inventory of, but you know, our idea here is kind of out with the old, in with the new. Let's make room for some of the cool and new products that you, the customers, have said to us at The Real Shot, hey, you guys should check this one out. Well, some areas we have to make sacrifices to get some new product in. So that's what we're here to do. I want to save you a bunch of money, give you some insight on some of these products. We have pretty cool guests at times. You know, there's a lot of fun that happens here on TRS Live. I make a lot of mistakes too, so that's all good, fun stuff. Now here, I'm going to tell you a little way, I'm going to tell you another way to save some additional money. Become a Fix TV subscriber. So Fix TV is a video on demand platform where you can watch shows like Head to Head Fishing. You can watch one of my shows called The Guided Life. You can watch the Jake Jacob Show, which is an awesome, awesome show. I highly encourage that. Plus, we're into early development parts of that with an app coming out very, very soon. I got kind of an insider secret to know that that app's coming, you know, a little bit sooner than maybe we thought it was going to be. If everything works well, fingers crossed on that one. But then the other thing too is there's more content coming to Fix TV. So it's $5.99 a month to become a Fix TV subscriber. You get all that content. Plus, as a Fix TV subscriber, we are going to throw you a $5 monthly. This is a monthly credit to use, well, here on TRS Live. So what that process looks like is you sign up, $5.99, right? You're going to go through an email process that's going to have you sign in and create an account on the Real Shot website. When you pretty much have to do that in order to buy some of the stuff that are the products that we're talking about. Now, you get your $5 monthly credit as long as you are a Fix TV subscriber. And you can pick and choose when you want to use that. And as long as you stay a Fix TV subscriber, you will maintain $5 per month. Now, I'm going to save you even more money and telling you this secret right here. Refer a friend to sign up to Fix TV. That will get you an additional month of viewing for free. So let's talk about it. $5.99 when you first sign up. We're automatically going to throw you a $5 credit for every month. So now you're already paying 99 cents a month to be a Fix TV member. The other thing too is if you refer a friend and they sign up, you get a free month of viewing. So we could almost get a month or a year's worth of viewing for only 99 cents. That is an awesome, awesome deal. So check it all out. It's fixphyxtv.com. Go over there, check out some of the content. If you do end up subscribing, you know, you're going to get the added perks that we talked about. And maybe right now, rolling into the month of July, if you sign up ahead of time, you could get that $5 and we could start fresh with some of the great products that we're going to talk about today too. So before we get into the other one, I have a small favor to ask you. If you haven't yet, do us a favor. Share TRS Live with your friends. So where do we show TRS Live? On all the Real Shot platforms. So that's the Real Shot YouTube, Facebook pages. That's a TRS Live Facebook page. There's a lot of different areas, and also on Fix TV as well. So the one thing we're going to talk about real quick is inventories. We talked about some have high inventories, some have low inventories. One of the questions we're getting a lot of is how long are these products on sale? Well, some may be on sale for a little bit longer than others. The thing about it is do not wait. If this is a deal that you want to take advantage of, now is the time to do it. So you can order online, get it shipped to your house if you're not in the Fox Valley area. If you are coming through the area, spending some time, you live around here or on vacation this summer, you can also do in-store pickup and then browse around the Real Shot floor. They have some new hours. Go to the Real Shot Facebook page, follow along, and find all that great information. So let's get into the very first product here today on TRS Live. We are talking about real tungsten flipping weights. And actually, it's just all real tungsten weights is what we're talking about today. So the idea behind it is we have some drop shot weights from real tungsten, and we have some of the flipping weights that we also mentioned before. So a little backstory, real tungsten started in 2020. You can see some of the sizes and the assortments on your screen, and it is all assorted sizes are on sale right now during the show. You see the prices, it's 20% off on real tungsten. Started in 2020 out of Morton, Illinois. Todd is the gentleman's name that created this company, and his simple idea was, I got tired of paying too much for tungsten. So he created this company, Real Tungsten, to help us out by helping us save money on great quality tungsten. So as we get into it, we can look at the 3/8. There's 3 packs, there's 2 packs of certain sizes, and some of your bigger sizes, there's single packs of that stuff, but all real tungsten during the show right now, and maybe for a couple days afterwards, will be 20% off. Man, that's an awesome, awesome savings right there. So let's talk a little bit about real tungsten, about the product itself. It is chip proof, so that means the paint wise. The thing that happens a lot is when you use a tungsten weight a lot, it's going to get used and abused. And if you're flipping it in wood, off of rocks, docks, so on and so forth, or drop shotting it around some rocks as well, the weights could potentially get chipped. So the nice thing is with that chip proof paint that's on there, you know that the color you select is going to stay true for as long as you have that tungsten weight, whether you use it to forever, or if you take it finally and a pike bites you off, or you lose it on a log or something like that, you know that that chip proof paint will be there. The other thing that's really, really nice, especially if you are a beginning angler like myself with some of this stuff, is the weights are stamped on, the weights are literally stamped right to the weight. So the nice thing is when you're going through your tackle box, you can find it right here, like this one I have in my hand is a 3/8 ounce. I know that when I go to my box and I have it assorted, and whatever your tackle carrying situation might be, I know exactly what weight I'm getting, whether it's the right weight for that situation or it got mixed up, whatever it may be. It's easy to sort and easy to identify the weight. So the other cool thing about tungsten is it's denser, and you can get it smaller and still get that equal weight. So lead in that same weight, let's say it's 3 ounces, is going to be bigger than what the tungsten can be. The other thing with tungsten is it is a different sound. So when it clicks off of rocks or metal or whatever it may be, it's going to add a little different sound, and that sound may help to trigger bites. So Real Tungsten, a really, really great company. The fact that everything's stamped on there, you could peg it, you can, with the Texas rig, you can peg it, you can Texas rig this stuff. I know a lot of gentlemen a lot of anglers like the tungsten if they are Carolina rigging, pulling it through the grass. The design of these tungsten weights is awesome. They got the added advantage of when you know it's on there, the quality control is there, that it's not going to nick the line, it's not going to jeopardize the line in any kind of fashion. So that's a lot of the flipping weights. There's a lot of great benefits to the flipping weights. The thing for me is I automatically love my tungsten weights if they are stamped. That helps me sort through it. And like when Kyle Carpenter's on the show, he talks about being efficient. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a tournament angler, the last thing you want to be doing is digging through your tackle box, your weight box, and I'm looking for a quarter, I'm looking for a quarter. Well, with the real tungsten stuff being stamped right on there, it's going to make that process a lot faster and a lot smoother. Now, some of the other weights here that we've seen on your screen, and Aaron, maybe you can bring that up again, is your drop shot weights. They have a nice keeper on there, and the thing that's nice, you can see those are the grayer weights that are on there. The way their keeper is on here, your line keeper, is it's a slide and a pinch style, if I could just simplify it. So you slide the line through, and then you kind of pull the line up a little bit with your tag end, and that pinch is in there. The nice thing that's about that is it's fast again, like we talked about being efficient when you're out in the water. That allows you to catch more time, allows you more time to catch fish. But if you do unfortunately get it in a spot where like it pinches between two rocks, the nice thing about it is you may jeopardize losing the weight, but you're not losing the whole entire rig at that time, meaning that your hook, your bait, whatever it may be, is maybe you got the Zoom Fluke on there and you're drop shotting for the Bay smallmouth. With those two different styles of weights, it allows you to change that game up, and with that line keeper, which I'm going to refer to it as, it allows you to, if you do snag it where you absolutely can't get it out, with enough tension, you'll just pull the line through, the line will break, hopefully leaving the tungsten on the bottom, and then you can go ahead and just get re-rig a new tungsten back on and identify it really smoothly with that stamped portion on there and get right back to fishing. So again, the biggest thing is with this stuff, we're talking about being efficient, being organized is a really, really big deal. And the fact is that we're saving you 20% on all this tungsten, assorted sizes. So some of the sizes we can refer to: 3/8, ½ ounce, 5/8, 3/4. We have 1 ounce, 1.25 ounces, 1.5 ounces, and 1 3/4. So that whole spectrum of weight there is going to allow you to have so many different applications that might be the way you're fishing that day. So you may start the day out early where you're fishing light grass or light wood, and then you all of a sudden now you need to get into more of a mat situation where you have to punch through that stuff, or you need a little bit faster fall rate. The assortment that we have, and with it all being 20% off, gives you the ability to save money and add some weights to it. Let's just not sugarcoat things. I mean, the price of some of these tungsten weights is getting pretty high nowadays, and it's not a cheap thing to be losing out there. So if we can save you money by giving you that 20% off the weights, you know, that's going to allow you to restock the tackle box. That's going to allow you to get into that tungsten world. As a new angler, you know, a lot of anglers identify and they know the benefits to fishing the tungsten, but maybe they can't afford it. You know, there's a lot of young kids out there just getting into the fishing world, don't have full-time jobs, or kind of, you know, tight with the budget right now. At 20% off, mom and dads, this allows you to get those young anglers some of this great quality real tungsten weight and be out there and fishing, and they're going to have a lot more success. They're going to love you a lot more because you allowed them to have more success. So go ahead and add some of these tungsten weights, that 20% off to your cart right now on therealshot.com. That's where all these baits are available. And let's talk about how to find some of these products. So I can give you a code. It's RTSWE. You also see that code on your screen, but on the Real Shot website itself, there's a category tab on the left-hand side. Now, if you go down that category tab, you see TRS Live Shopping. You click on that, and the first thing you're going to see is a big calendar that's going to pop up. That tells you about some of the baits and products that we've talked about in the past. There's also a portion on there that's going to talk about upcoming shows like today's show that you can follow along with us on there. Then as you scroll down or up a little bit further, you're actually going to see those products that we've talked about on TRS Live, whether they are still on sale or you see that what the sales price was and now where they're back to the full retail. That allows you to kind of keep an eye on it. And I had the good fortune to talk to Lance Kozik, who helps with our e-commerce, and he was saying there's an email portion on there. So maybe you missed out on let's say the real tungsten, your certain size sells out. Now there's an email portion on there. You click on that and you'll get an email notification when that product comes back into stock. Now, unfortunately, it may or may not be discounted at that point. But hey, you know what? I needed some more of those 3/8 ounce weights. I see the Real Shot got them back in stock because I got an email notification. And then I can go ahead and continue shopping on the Real Shot. And then the other thing too is by clicking on that TRS Live tab, I can also follow along on what I missed or what's coming up in the future. The other thing too is when you're on our social media pages, like we've talked about the Real Shot or TRS Live page, let us know your testimonies. Hey, I've never tried the real tungsten stuff. I've tried it. It allowed me to catch fish. I find that it fished a little bit nicer, a little bit different than some of the other tungsten weights I've tried out there in the market. You know, let us know those testimonials. Share that with us, and maybe you'll end up being on a TRS Live episode. We would love to have your testimonials. We have the chat that's open. We can go ahead and chat with you. You can let us know some of your testimonials. You know, we'll get that information out there. So Real Tungsten weights. So we talked about, we have some of the flipping weights here. We have some of the drop shot weights here. There's a lot of high-end features to this stuff. Not only is it chip proof, which I really am a big fan of, but the thing is that weights being marked on each individual weight is going to allow you to be faster and more efficient on the water and hopefully catching more and more fish. So Texas rigging it, Tokyo rigging it, that's one thing you don't talk a lot about. The flipping weights are nice for Tokyo rigging because you can either fish them one or two ways. You can run your metal tab through with the cylinder part facing down, that makes it a little more weedless, or you can flip it up and fish it the other way if you're Texas rigging it. And then we talked about the benefits to the drop shotting with the keeper being on there and allowing maybe to leave the weight if you get snagged in a situation where you can't get out of, and get you right back to fishing. All you have to do is run your line through that keeper, pull it tight, it pinches in there at the very top of that, holds that line very nice and secure, so you know you don't have any slippage going on when you are drop shotting and you have a big target at smallmouth or panfish. I mean, that's the other thing too, is you can drop shot for panfish, maybe for perch, maybe there's suspended crappies, bluegills, so on and so forth. Get you up above those weeds, get your bait up a little bit higher, right in that strike zone for those fish. So there's a lot of benefits to the Real Tungsten stuff. I highly encourage you to take advantage of it. It's 20% off right now. I don't know, again, how long these are going to be on sale, so this is one that you're going to want to add to your cart. Fixed TV members, maybe this is a perfect product for you. Use that $5 credit on your account. So one more time, Real Tungsten flipping weights, 20% off. You're looking at the great assortment that's on your screen right now. Some of the sizes, again, 3/8 ounce, that's a 3-pack, ½ ounce, that's a 2-pack, 5/8 ounce, that's also a 2-pack, as well as 3/4 ounce. Then we get to some of your bigger sizes in the flipping weights. 1 ounce, 1 ounce and a quarter, 1.5 ounces, an ounce and 3/4 are all one per pack. But at 20% off, man, you can add a couple of different options to the Real Shot website and take advantage of that 20% off savings. So Real Tungsten, right out of Illinois, got tired of paying too much for tungsten, so just decided to start his own company and save you and I a bunch of money in the process. So thank you very much, Todd. We do appreciate you recognizing that. And we're gonna do you one better. We're gonna save you even more money by knocking 20% off the Real Tungsten weights. And it's not just the flipping weights, it is also the drop shot weights. So that is that first segment of today. We have a bunch more coming up. So coming up next, we're going to talk about one of my favorites, the Power Bait products. This is the Power Honeyworm. Cool thing is we're going to get into some of the benefits of this stuff. 55 are in a pack. It's kind of segmented. There's a lot of different ways to fish this. I've had great success running the Honeyworm. So that is coming up next after these commercial breaks. It's Matt Trotz here with The Guided Life. We just met up with one of the guys from the crew, and he's like, they're on a hot track, so it's put her 4 high and get on these back roads and scream. Every year that I've been a part of that and I go to that class, I always learn something. So these guys are gonna join me, and the reason I asked these two guys in here is because we got Travis, who does a lot of public land hunting, and then Judd and I are private land, owners and hunters for the most part as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Welcome back, everybody, to TRS Live. I am Matt Trotz, and I'm here to save you some more money. Coming up now is the Berkley Power Bait, which is that great Berkley smell. And we're talking about the honeyworm in the red color. So you see all the information on your screen. $3.99 for this normal little jar right here. Right now, 99 cents off. We're selling them to you for $3 a jar. And there are 55 of these little bad boys in this jar. Now, here's the deal. When you get into that Berkley Power Bait stuff, the first thing I like to do, whether it's a package or whether it's one of these jar situation, is I like to crack it open and get that great Berkley smell. That Power Bait smell, man, that brings back so many memories. The Power Bait stuff for me is one of those things that I will never ever forget, because I started catching bass upon bass when I fished that Berkley Power Bait and that 7-inch ribbo tail, and that kind of opened the door for me and got me into the Power Bait world. These are some phenomenal baits, whether it's the honeyworm here or any of that Berkley Power Bait stuff. But let's talk a little bit about Berkley. We've hit on it so often that, you know, they started way back in 1937 in Spirit Lake, Iowa. They opened the door to a lot of different products. Some of your industry leading products are a Berkley product, but the honeyworm is one of those versatile products as well. So again, quantities of this, well, we got around 36 here as we start Friday. Doesn't mean we're gonna have 36 by 4th of July. So this is one of those deals, if you're watching it either live or you're watching it as it's a recorded show a little bit later on the pre-shows. This is an awesome bait. So let's talk about this. I've had good success fishing this in a number of different ways. The honeyworm is a 1-inch larvae style bait here. And I'm gonna get in here and I'm gonna pull out a couple, find a loose end. And you can see, to me, it reminds me of like sausage. When a sausage comes out of the casings, you know, they're all stuck together. So all you have to do is grab one, pull the segment apart, and then you have your 1-inch, I'm trying to get it here, there you go, your little 1-inch larvae style bait that is perfect for whether you are bobber fishing or you're ice fishing or you're tipping your favorite bait. Maybe it's a Z-Viber Micro. This is an awesome bait. Plus, right away, you know you got that great Berkley smell. So the cool thing about it is this 1-inch bait emulates and simulates a bunch of different larvae that could be out there. So the honeyworm, to me, right away, I look at it, it looks like a bigger waxworm style bait. It's got the segmented bodies to it, and a lot of that nice stuff for Berkley, you can see it on your screen with those segments, is each segment is just another chamber per se of Berkley Power Bait scent. So we know that fish bite and won't let go of that Power Bait stuff. So this is a great product in here. And now when you pull this apart, you see on your screen, there's 55 of these bad boys right in that jar. And when you're done using it, this jar is so nice because you can reseal it. And it's a hardened plastic material, so as long as you don't step on it or crush it, you know, you know that your Berkley Power Bait scent is going to be trapped in there. And then the next time I open it up to go for another one of these red honeyworms, I'm gonna get that awesome Berkley smell that I really know and love. So for me, recent success I had with this bad boy is I literally took it. I was fishing a Z-Viber Micro that we've also talked about here on TRS Live. But I noticed that some of the fish were reacting a little bit differently. Some fish wanted that Z-Viber Micro fish normally without any meat on it. And then I noticed that some of the bluegills were really reacting to it. Or were looking at it, but then they weren't, you know, making that commitment to eating it. So all I did is I had a Berkley honeyworm jar with me. I left the whole worm, so there's a 1-inch worm on that single hook on the back of that Z-Viber Micro. I threaded it through, kind of like started at the top, worked my way through, had that single hook protrude, and what that allowed me to do is not only have a little more attractant, being that sight and that Berkley's Power Bait smell, but the thing about that Z-Viber Micro is it allowed that micro to drop just a little bit slower in the water, and it added a little extra movement to that Z-Viber Micro, where when those fish saw it, they got the senses, were stimulated, and it allowed them to locate that bait and when they hit it, boy, they hit it hard. A lot of those fish had it actually pretty far in their mouth where I had to use the pliers to get it out. But this is an awesome bait formulated for all panfish. So we're talking right now about crappies and bluegills. I know there's a lot of people that love this for perch, whether you are just dead sticking a rod over the side of the boat, or you have a sinker, or maybe even like a drop shot setup like we talked about with some of that lighter real tungsten stuff. Just thread this through. You can either almost like nose hook it like some of your more popular smallmouth drop shot baits, or you could thread it all on there just to give a little extra action. And I know it's hard to see, and Aaron, I'll do my best, but this plastic is still durable enough. I'm going to show you that I'm still getting pretty good movement out of that tail portion of this with just a little bit of, the finger flip here. I'm still getting pretty darn good movement out of that, and it's still pretty durable. I mean, I'm adding some pretty good stretch to this, and I'm not breaking it at all. So this is another one of those high quality Berkeley plastics. And then with that scent on there, you know that this thing is going to last you a long time. You got 55 in here, and if you're crushing fish, I don't even think you're going through, half a jar. I mean, if you go through more than 10 of these in a day, you're either on the fish really, really well, or I don't know, man, because these things are phenomenal. This is a great, great bait. Now, this red color too, a lot of times that red is what can add a little extra, obviously the color to it, but that red simulates blood in the water. And we all know that fish react really well to that. We've put red hooks on baits and so on and so forth. So going with this red color in any body of water, whether it's a stained body of water or a clear body of water, is just going to help those fish locate this. Throwing it under a slip bobber, for bluegills, crappies, perch. Then you can also use it for trout. This is also a great trout bait as well. A lot of anglers will use it in the streams. The last thing you want to do, if you can use live bait on your streams, right, is dig around for crawlers. You got to keep crawlers with you in those situations. I personally, if I am trout fishing, I like to stay with artificials because I notice that I get a lot less fish hooked deep into the gullet. We know that trout are super aggressive fish when the bite is on. And when you're throwing a regular crawler or a leaf worm or a red worm, those trout will eat it and they'll really get it down. So if you have a certain size limit that's on those bodies of water, the last thing you want to do is, accidentally gut hook a trout, and those finicky fish maybe won't make it. So I notice when I stay with the artificials, I'm fishing a lot faster. I'm fishing a lot longer without getting my hands, dirty or wet or anything like that. I'm so much more efficient on the water. And this little jar right here too, it compacts very well. So once you have it, it can simply fit in a pocket. It can fit in a small tackle box. I can have the red color here. I can have a couple other different options with it. And if, let's say, like we talked about earlier, let's say those fish are reacting differently to your bait, even just breaking one of these or cutting one of these apart, just adding a little bit of meat with that Berkeley Power Bait scent that's on there is going to hopefully entice those fish to bite. And then when they do bite, they won't let go and you still have time to react. These are a perfect bait for the beginner fisherman. A lot of times when you are out fishing with kids, the fun part about it is putting the worms on and everything like that, but then the kids cast off the worms and you're constantly rebaiting. Don't worry about that. As long as you hook this up properly, even if you do nose hook it and it's not on there the best, it's going to take quite a bit for a young kid to cast these off. So, it's just going to make your day on the water a lot more enjoyable because you're going to not only catch fish, but you're going to spend more time fishing. Whether the fish are biting or not, the line's going to be in the water a lot longer, which is going to definitely increase the likelihood of going home with a limit. So the other thing is a lot of anglers will use this. We talked about it for panfish. We talked about it for trout. This is a great ice fishing bait as well. So if you live in an area where you are able to go ice fishing when winter hits in, again, everything we talked about open water can be duplicated in the ice fishing situation, whether you're tipping a bobber setup or you're tipping one of your small tungsten jigs. This is a very, very versatile little bait right here, and 55 of them for $3 a jar. That's one of those deals where I'm gonna add a couple of these to it, and it'd make a perfect gift in that situation too. If you're building that tackle box for that beginning angler, you know, you're gonna add hooks in there, you're gonna add some of your weights, you're gonna add some fun little stuff. This Berkley Power Bait stuff is one of those versatile little plastics that is gonna catch you a plethora of fish, and you're gonna have a lot more fun on the water. There are red benefits to it, 55 of them. Now don't go eating these. These are not for human consumption. These are only for the fish. So, I mean, this is one for me. It is $3.99 normal. I'll pay that all day long. If TRS Live wants to save me some money and sell them to me for $3 a jar, well, even better yet. And that's one too, that fixed TV subscribers, you got that $5 credit coming up here in July. You know, if you haven't used it yet on the first, you got, you know, the rest of the month to use that, but this is a good product to get in your hands for $5, and you're getting one for free at that point. Then you just have some, you know, some leftover monies. Maybe you want to add another one to the mix. So Berkley Power Bait, it's the honey worm. What else can you say about it? It's that proven Berkley Power Bait smell. The fish are attracted to it. The fish bite it. They hold on. They're going to catch a lot more fish with it. This is a go-to. If I had to rate this one, I'm going to rate it a really high one. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 just based off of what I know off of Power Bait stuff. I personally have caught fish using these little bad boys right here. This is a matte stamp of approval. The Power Bait Honey Worm is an awesome product to go with. That red is a great looking color. It's very vibrant. The segmented bodies, each one is going to hold, you know, a lot of that Berkley Power Bait smell. It's got even little leggies on here, so it adds to that realism in the water. You thread it all the way on, you nose hook it, you drop shot it, you slip bobber it. There's so many different applications to fish this one at $3 a jar. This is one you can't go wrong. And you know, we have a nice stock of it now, but we don't have a huge quantity of these, so do not wait. Add this to your cart, BPPHW. You see it on your screen right now. Add it to the cart on therealshot.com. I love when Aaron talks to me. It's fun. But again, it's just because it says it's a formulated for panfish. It's got all the good stuff in it that panfish want. Doesn't mean that's the end all be all. Get creative with this, and when you are getting creative with us, share it with us. Let us know some of the ideas that you got for fishing these Berkley Power Bait honey worms, and share your success pictures with us. And maybe you'll end up on a TRS Live episode. So 55 per jar. There's 1 inch long. This is a great product formulated for all panfish. It emulates that insect, that larvae that we know that all panfish are really, really attracted to, and they love to feed on. Not only is it good for open water applications, this is one too for ice fishing. And here's a little tidbit that maybe some people don't think about. A lot of times in the winter, even if you're fishing for white bass or walleye or some of those bigger fish, you might pinch a minnow head off. You might tip it with some spikes, with some waxworms. Well, right here, tip it with these. You're not going to have to, you know, run to the bait shop all the time because you got 55 of them. You know, this is a really, really good product, and I highly, highly recommend it. So $3.99 normal retail, $3 on the Berkley Power Bait Honey Worm. That great, great Berkley Power Bait smell and taste for the fish. It is one of those things that you got to have in your tackle box just for those certain situations. So Berkley Power Bait Honey Worm, $3.99, $3. Go ahead and add it to your cart at therealshot.com. But don't go anywhere, because coming up next here on TRS Live, we're going to be talking about some of those great quality ducket rods. We talked about some casting stuff earlier on in the week, and now we're going to get into some of their spinning rods here, to medium and medium light rods from Ducket. So we'll be right back with more TRS Live after these commercial breaks. It's Matt Trotz here with The Guided Life. We just met up with one of the guys from the crew, and he's like, they're on a hot track, so it's 104 high and get on these back roads and scream. Every year that I've been a part of that and I go to that class, I always learn something. So these guys are gonna join me, and the reason I asked these two guys in here is because we got Travis, who does a lot of public land hunting, and then Judd and I are private land, owners and hunters for the most part as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Hello again, and welcome back to TRS Live. We've covered some awesome baits here on a Friday. We're gonna get into the rod world now. We're going with Duckett. Duckett was created by Boyd Duckett. Remember that Boyd Duckett won the 2007 Bassmaster Classic. The guy is a legend in the bass fishing world, and that's why you're gonna get these legendary products that we're talking about here from Duckett. So the two rods in particular that we're talking about are both 7-footers, but we have the medium light fast and just a medium fast. So both rods are on sale right now. Again, not a lot of quantity of these, either one of them. So $159.99 is your normal retail price. We're giving it to you for $129.99. And we had Kyle in here earlier this week talking about the medium heavy 7'3" casting rod. These are the Pro Series. So let's get into it right away. Some of the benefits of this is they have a Sensi Touch blanks, which is made from the highest quality multi-modules for extremely lightweight, and it's a durable rod. So balance is another thing that Duckett decided to go with, besides as well as the stellar look here with that high performance cork that's on these rods. And Kyle, if you watch some of the past shows, you have to go back and watch it. He gave us a lot of great insight on how to keep the cork in a way better situation without just leaving this plastic on. It keeps the cork a lot better shape than with your hand oils and everything like that. So they balance this rod really well, and that's very, very important because that allows you to have a lot less fatigue when you're out there fishing. So as we talk about the rods and the rods actions, the medium light and then the medium rods, they both have a lot of benefits to them depending on the application. But one of those things is we get a lot here at the Reel Shot is I need a rod that can do a lot of different things. Well, that 7-foot medium is that rod for you in the spinning world. You can throw swim baits on it. You can still vertically jig with it. If you're a walleye angler, you can still throw some of those lighter crank baits on it. I mean, it's a lot of benefits to it. And that 7-foot length is a very good length, whether you're a beginner fisherman or an experienced fisherman. Allows you to do a lot of things with it. If you're flipping a Cinco, if you're vertical jigging walleyes in the river, throwing small swim baits, throwing small crankbaits, there's a lot of benefits to that 7-foot. And even slip bobbering for walleyes. That 7-foot's gonna have a nice backbone to it. It's still gonna be long enough for some of that line pickup. And it's a great rod in that medium. Now, if you want to downsize your game a little bit, then you go to that medium light. Say you're throwing some of those hair jigs. That 7-foot maybe is a little short on that side, but if you're a beginning angler, you can fish. Again, we talked about some of the wacky rig systems out there with Cincos, even more of a vertical jigging presentation with some of those smaller jigs. So both of these rods at $30 off is an awesome deal. Let's get back into some of the benefits of it. We talked about the balance that helps reduce angler sensitivity, or I'm sorry, angler fatigue, and it also allows you to have increased sensitivity as well. You know, where the reel's sitting on here, whatever you pair it with, whether it's a 3,000 size or a 2,000 size reel, depending, you know, you can, where the seat is on there is, for me, I like to fish above the reel seat. So a lot of anglers will split grip it, whether they'll go between, you know, the middle fingers here, or they'll go to the bottom or between the pinky. I personally like to fish above it. So what that does is I can put my finger up here on the blank itself, gives me a lot better sensitivity to the rod tip. But then for me, I just find I get a lot less fatigue. So depending on where you put that reel, the portion of your reel seat, gets me right here to the rod. Then I can tuck this butt end around my forearm. It allows me for hook sets, good hook sets for me. But this is an awesome rod. Plus, it just looks phenomenal. I like that white. I'm a real big fan of that white all the way through and through. It is an awesome, awesome rod. So it's the 7 foot and a 7 foot medium light. We see it on the screen right now. $159.99 is the normal retail. $129.99. Micro guides. The micro guides is what we've referred to a couple of different times when we talk about the ducket stuff. So the cool thing about micro guides, right, is it provide increased casting distance and unparalleled accuracy. So when you're fishing around, let's say, a dock situation, or you're fishing around wood, you have to make precision casts. That's the simple, plain and truth about it. So with that, those micro guides, not only does it give you a lot more distance if you're throwing a swim bait out there, you know, it's going to allow you to be more accurate. Sometimes you got to hit that spot on the spot, or if you're sidearm and you're skipping a single under a dock, being able to precision place that cast is going to allow you for hopefully more hook sets. So that's another benefit to the micro guides here that you see on both of these rods. They're 7 foot medium light and the 7 foot medium, and they're both the fast actions as well. So that's going to allow you to work the bait a little bit nicer too. Some of the other benefits here on my notes are the double foot elevated stripper guide that adds strength and has smoother transition for added castability. So again, everything that this rod offers right here is going to help with your casting skills. It's going to make you a better and more accurate caster, which is going to keep you in the strike zone a lot longer. So look at where the hook keeper is on here. We talked about with that 7 foot medium heavy ducket rod earlier, where the hook keeper was up here. Now on this rod, they've added it to the bottom side of the butt. Again, I like where they add these hook keepers because it makes it streamlined and it makes it more easier to hook up. And especially like Kyle said, if you're running a rod sleeve on here, you know, that hook keeper and that placement is going to keep it all in line. So your reel is going to be here, and then your baits are going to be right underneath it. So I'm trying to turn it there. You can kind of see that hook keeper placement. And it's that same open-ended hook style keeper that we talked about with that 7 foot 3, where you can either slide the hook in. So if you may be lightly rigging some weedless style stuff with this rod, if you're fishing that 7 footer, you know, I can slide the hook right in here. I don't have to unhook my plastics. I can just slide them right in here. And it's also big enough that I can also just hook some of those bigger treble hook baits through there if I'm throwing something with a big treble on it, or some of those bigger hooks or jigs. The other thing too is where this is placed, this would be perfect for your real tungsten drop shot weights. You can kind of snap that in there. It's on the bottom side of the rod, so it's going to get less snagged up, and you still have the full rod almost right up to the reel seat to put a rod sock on here and keep everything clean and uniform. So Kyle referred to it. They have a great warranty. It's a manufacturer's warranty, so if you do have any issues, we encourage you to go right back to Ducket. They're going to stand behind their product. But Boyd Ducket, being a 2007 Bassmaster Classic winner and using some of the other high-end bass angler, their knowledge as well is what allows you to have such a quality product. I mean, it's the names like Jacob Weir, Gaylord Klein. The list goes on and on and on, besides Boyd Ducket himself. So the two rods in particular, one more time here, it's a 7 foot medium light. It's a fast action and a 7 foot medium fast. It's a great setup here. Great for casting, make it more accurate. They went as far as more line to guide contact for enhanced sensitivity. You know, it's a lot of new industry, changing double flange tip. There's just so many things that they thought about when building these Pro Series rods for you, the angler at home. And again, if this is you're stepping up, right? You're stepping up from a more inexpensive rod into this is your start of your high-end rod at that price range of $129.99. That's a really good price range to start stepping up your game. You know, we always want to step up as we progress as anglers ourselves. And the one thing that I was taught here when I first started working at the Reel Shot almost 10 years ago is the rod is the driver, right? A good quality reel with great bearings and everything like that is a must. But finding the rod first and then we can partner the reel is the steps in which it should really, really go. So, you know, and then the next thing they're going to ask you is what is the application? And the application is extremely important, but if you are just looking to get into a rod, that medium rod and that 7-foot length is going to allow you to cover a lot more water, meaning it's going to give you a lot more variety of baits that you can throw on it. And then because we're saving you money, now maybe I need that medium light for those other applications. Maybe I want one for throwing some of those bigger bass baits or throwing some of those bigger swim baits for walleyes. Then I want to partner it with a medium light because I do want to go back into that finesse game, whether I'm throwing hair jigs or throwing a Cinco or downsizing, Ned rigging, you know, drop shotting, some of those applications. So these two rods are going to be a great rod, and I feel great that I can save you some money on these two high quality rods. So, I mean, your line weight here, they're recommending anywhere from that 6 to 12 pound world, whether you are fishing like a braided line or a floral or a mono. There's you know, some good actions to that. We talked about the medium lights, that world where if you're a little more finesse game, if you want a little more of that, you know, bigger weight game, go to that, you know, the medium. But you can see, just look at the fit and finish on your screen right now. These things absolutely look amazing. They have taken the time to build you a high quality rod, and by stamping it with that Pro Series, you know that there's been a lot of input from some of those professional anglers out in the world right now to give you these great ducket rods. So Micro Magic is the rods. It's a Pro spinning rods. It's a 7-foot medium light fast and a 7-foot medium fast. Normally $159.99. I'm looking at it here. We got about 6 of each one in stock. That's not a lot. That will go fast, especially at $129. The code, if you are on the Reel Shot, which you need to be in order to order it, DMPSR is the code you're going to enter, and that'll bring you right to these. Or if you're on the Reel Shot website, just go to that TRS Live tab on the left-hand side of your screen, and the category side, you'll be able to find it right there on today's show. This is a great product. It's the Ducket Pro Series rods. It's 2 spinning rods. You know, and think about this. The money we've saved you this week, you could have a really good arsenal of Ducket rods, you know, here on Friday. Now, you can have a great arsenal if you've been paying attention all week long on some of these great quality Ducket setups. So one last time, DMPSR $159.99 is normal retail price. $129.99 is the sales price here on TRS Live. So we're gonna get into our final product of the day. So coming up next is the lifted jigs. It is a SLX swim jig. All sizes, all colors are available at a discounted price. So we'll get into all that. We talked about Lifted earlier this week and what a great company they are out of Michigan. And we're going to continue on with the swim jig portion of it and the SLX. I'll tell you what that stands for right after we come back with these commercial breaks. It's Matt Trotz here with The Guided Life. We just met up with one of the guys from the crew, and he's like, they're on a hot track, so it's put her 4 high and get on these back roads and scream. Every year that I've been a part of that and I go to that class, I always learn something. So these guys are gonna join me, and the reason I asked these two guys in here is because we got Travis, who does a lot of public land hunting. And then Judd and I are private land, owners and hunters for the most part as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. So the last product of the day here on TRS Live, we're going to talk about the lifted jigs. Now this is a swim jig and it's a SLX swim jig. So they already had a great product on the market called the SLM. Now what they did is they took a flagship swim jig for them, which the SLM was, and they put it on steroids. That's basically what they did. So the SLX portion of it is your screw lock extra on this swim jig. Again, you see your prices on your screen right here. $5.29 is your normal retail price. $4.29 is the sales price here on TRS Live. And it's all the colors in all the sizes. Sizes range from 1/4 ounce, 3/8 ounce, and 1/2 ounce on these swim jigs. Some of your colors, let's talk about them. We got fast shad, we got crappie, black on blue, easy money, bedfish, gillish, PB, yeti, and red gill. And you look at those colors that are on your screen right now, and first thing I noticed right away with these is that awesome skirt material that's on here. It's a 42 strand premium silicone skirt. The other thing too is they use a Duracoat finish, and some of them have the gloss finish to them, some of them have that matte finish to them, which if you're partnering these with some of those Berkley Maxcents, that's going to be a great partner. But again, it's sizes from 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2 ounce. Now let's talk a little bit about the jig itself. So the first thing you're going to see is the 60-degree head that's on here. And as you look at them on the table, I'll try to show you here with this nice pink one. This is a pretty cool color right here. But this is a 60-degree line tie, and that allows you to get the premium swimming action that you need out of a swim jig. Narrow head style to it, so it's going to come through the grass, it's going to come through the wood really nice and clean. The other thing they did with it is they really beefed up the weed guard on this thing. It still is a high quality weed guard, and when we had Lance in here, the first thing he mentioned he likes to do is tug on these weed guards to really test the quality of them, and this thing is in there really well. So with that strong weed guard that's on there, it's going to allow you to go through a lot of junk, but still going to be flexible and easy enough that when that big largie, or maybe you're throwing it for smallies or whatever you may be targeting, is still going to get that hook. And speaking of that hook, this is a 5/0 2X. It's a Mustad hook that we know that Lifted really is a fan of that Mustad stuff. That skirt is held on right up here, and as I get into it here a little bit more, I'm going to remove that 42 strand skirt, that silicone skirt, and you're going to see, if I hold it properly, right here behind or in front of my finger is the screw lock keeper. So that is nice, because some of these baits that you're going to put on here as a trailer, maybe it's some of the Zoom stuff, maybe it's some of your Kitex, some of that plastic out on the market right now is getting incredibly soft and supple. So adding a screw lock to these jigs is going to help keep that bait on there a lot longer. And I know that a lot of anglers too will not only enjoy that screw lock portion of it, but they may add a little bead of glue on there to help hold that on. You necessarily don't need to do that here with this lifted jigs. This is the SLX swim jig. All the fit and finishes, all the sizes are on sale right now for $1 off. Normal retail $5.29. This is a $4.29 on sale product right now. LJSLX is the code that you see on your screen. The molded eye, I mean, it's a mad eye. This thing looks crazy angry, looks like it's ready to catch a bunch of fish. But as we go through it here again, just look at some of the colors. Just great color schemes in here. They got a little bit of everything that's going to allow you to fish it, whether it's in clear water, stained water, you're fishing it through grass, you're fishing it through woods, you're throwing it up around docks, you know, and the bigger sizes that are available in that 3/8 and that half is going to allow you to beef up your trailers, and it's going to allow you to have a lot of different applications that this awesome jig is going to cover. And this is, I'm going right here, I'm like, let's just run through it here. Here's one of these ones. That black blue is kind of your standard color, but then they add that matte finish to that jig head, and that Duracoat paint, you know that it's also going to be in there to last a long time. And one of the things too, we talked about this with the real tungsten that makes me a big fan, is how often you go to your box and I'm looking for that 3/8 ounce. That's my go-to, or I need it right now, one of the most popular sizes. Well, Lifted put it right here, and let's see if I can find one with a little brighter head color. They actually have it. Here's, I got a 1/2 ounce, and how do I know that? It's hard to see from your angle, but on the back side of the head right here, they actually have your weight molded right into the head of that bait. So you know that even if the paint were to chip off, that Duracoat paint, if it unfortunately chips off, this weight stamping is right into the molded portion of that jig head. So time and time I go to my box, I know exactly which weight I'm looking for, and I can easily identify it right here on the back of these Lifted jig swim heads. And they've used some Bassmaster Elite Pros to help beef up this jig, to add a lot of insight to it. I mean, it's just an awesome bait. And how do you take a phenomenal bait with the SLM and make it a lot bigger and a lot fancier? I mean, you just beef it up. You beef up that hook, you beef up that reliable heavy duty weed guard that's on this thing. And I love the fact that they stamp those weights right in the back. I mean, that is literally molded right into the back of the jig. This one here, this reminds me of the Justin Timberlake song, The Suit and Tie. This is a fancy looking jig right here. And you can see in that 42 strand silicone skirt, look at the fleck that's in this thing. This thing really has some great, I'll try to work it in the light so you can just see, look at some of those gold fleck that's in this thing. I mean, that just really, really shows off. That's going to help increase the fish to find that bait, whether you're fishing it through grass or fishing it around wood here, even just on this straight white with a little bit of gray in there. I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to show you the best way I can. Man, not only does that skirt look really, really nice, but I mean, they add that little bit of shimmer to it. That's just going to help increase your hookups. It's going to help you find and attract a lot more fish. We just kind of go through it. I mean, these are quickly becoming a go-to for me. I absolutely love that the company is right out of Michigan, so you know that they're assembled and made and packaged right here in the USA. And this is a great company. I mean, it's one of those, again, it's a small company feel. They knew that there was room for improvement on some of the other jigs on the market right now. And like Lance referred to, I mean, we got into that lifted jig world when the Ned rig was so popular, and they came out with the EWG style to it to help you fish out a lot more weedless. And then we realized that, man, that Lifted has a bunch of high quality products, and we really, really branched out, and we're glad that we did, because I think this is a go-to for a lot of anglers. And that $4.29 on that sale price, this is one that you can add to that arsenal and just get yourself into a jig that maybe you've never really tried, or you know, you've always wanted to try but were afraid at that price range. You know, at $4.29 is a sales price right here. For me, looking at this right now, my go-to selling point, besides all the other characteristics that we talked about, the skirt, the heavy-duty hook, the heavy-duty weed guard, is that molded weight right in the back of your head. Like otherwise, you got to go in your box and you got to mark your lures up, or you got to have one box set aside for everything. If you're like me and you just have one jig box, I can go right in there and I can just pick out this one. Now, obviously, you can tell some of your head sizes are different, right? But some of those weights, once we get in there, they get a little bit closer and a little bit harder to tell. Why second guess it? Just go in there, pick up your jig that you want, make sure it's the weight that you want, rig up that trailer with that nice screw lock feature that's on the inside of the skirted portion here. Thread that bad boy on there and get to fishing. And I mean, this is, again, I love this color right here. This is another great color. I am really becoming a fan of lifted. I think you will too, especially if you take advantage of $1 off. $5.29 is your normal retail, $4.29. And unfortunately for you, like, we don't have a huge quantity of these jigs available. So this is one you're gonna have to jump on. That's why I feel like this is my TRS real deal of the day right here, because this is a great quality product at a phenomenal, awesome TRS price. So get on therealshot.com, enter this into the search tab, LJSLX, that stands for the Lifted Jig Screw Lock Extra. They took their phenomenal SLM jig, they beefed it up, they put it on steroids, they sent it to the weight room for a while, and they came out with the SLX. And this thing is an awesome swim jig. This is one that you should have in your tackle box to hopefully catch you a lot more fish, whether it's just fishing on the weekends or you're in a tournament situation. I think you're going to become a fan of the lifted jigs really quick, and especially because we're saving you money on them. That to me is a no-brainer. So if you added some of the lifted jigs from earlier this week, I highly encourage you to add a couple more. And this is a great weekend to do that. So if you're coming through the Fox Valley area, add some of these lifted jigs to the website, and then in-store pickup. Stop by here, see some of the friendly staff here at the Reel Shop before you head out for this 4th of July weekend. Hopefully that allows you to catch more fish. Hopefully you learned some things this week. I had a blast. It's been a fun week here on TRS Live. But I just want to say happy 4th of July, everybody. Make sure that you are really safe out there this weekend. And we're back again on Monday. We have another show here, TRS Live, at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time for some more great quality products that the Reel Shot carries at some awesome sales prices. So thank you for joining me. Enjoy your weekend, your long weekend, and I'll see you Monday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time.